for the next 2 weeks will be I'll have the privilege to be learning with you the daf starting this morning. So I'm here alone, but I see some of you are on Zoom. So can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, let me know if I should adjust anything, because I'm new over here. Okay, fine. So it's gonna be on Bava Batra, Lamed Gimel, Amud Aleph. That's the third chapter, Parak Shlishi, page 33a, Lamed Gimel, Amud Aleph. It's gonna be by the two dots, about halfway down, where it says Kreve. So Cheskes Sabatim goes through a lot of arguments between people. What do you do? How do you sort out the argument? Good morning, Jules. Good morning, Steve. So the following goes like this: Kreve de Rav Idi bar Aven. Okay, it's Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph, like Lag Ba'omer, on 33a, in the middle of the page where it's two dots where it says Kreve. Kreve de Rav Idi bar Aven, the close relative of Rav Idi bar Aven. Rav Idi bar Aven was he was mentioned many times in the Gemara, and his relative, his Kreve de Rav Idi bar Aven Shachiv, the relative of Rav Idi bar Aven, passed away. V'shavik dikla, and he left over for an inheritance a dikla, a palm tree. Okay, Rav Idi bar Aven now came to argue this dispute. Rav Idi bar Aven Amar. Rav Idi bar Aven he told us, he told Bezdin, Ana kariv natfei. I am closer. I'm the closest relative, and it belongs to me. I get the palm tree. Who Gavra Amar, and there was someone else. The Gemara doesn't tell us his name, but he was a powerful person. Ana kariv natfei. I am the close relative, and I'm the one who gets the inheritance of this palm tree. Okay, so now what do you do when there's two people they're just arguing? There's no proof or anything, and none of them, and they're both in the same level of, they both have the same support for themselves, backing them up. So the halacha is called the alam gavar. It's an interesting halacha that the Gemara has. It's called the alam gavar. If two people arguing, you have no edim, we have no way of examining your case. So we say whoever's called the alam, anyone who's more powerful, they win. So whoever can chase out the other one from the field, either with wealth or with physical power, he wins. And this fellow, Hahu Gavra, this fellow was more powerful, and that person, he overpowered Rav Idi bar Aven, and he went into the field, and he went to the palm tree, and he started eating the fruits for 1 or 2 years, says Rashbam. Shana ish nasayim. Okay, that was what happened initially. Okay, L'saif, it's 6 lines from the bottom on Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph. L'saif, in the end of the day, oidile the iu karvtfei. It came along. He was getting more worried about doing tshuva. He felt he was doing the wrong thing, because l'saif oidile the iu karvtfei. So this fellow who went into the palm tree, he thought of tshuva in his heart, and he said, 1 second, I didn't do the right thing. I'm not really closer, right? He was, because the person Haidas Bal didn't command Adam Dami, someone who's Maida, he admits, someone who admits from on their own has the power of Adam. Haidas Bal didn't command Adam. So he said, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Why am I stealing? Let me do tshuva. And he was Maida, and he admitted that the Ihu is going back on. This fellow is admitting that the other one, Rav Idi bar Aven, is Karetz Bey. Rav Idi bar Aven is the one that's closer. Okay, so now, what would everyone say? So you give it back to Rav Idi bar Aven because he admitted. But the Gemara is going to discuss what about the fruits. Okay, so he was eating fruits. He ate the pears, the palm tree. He ate the fruits of the palm tree for 2 years. And if he's being if he's admitting that he was a gazlan, he's a thief. So now, what do you do with the pears? So Ukmar Rav Chisda biyadei. Rav Chisda took the field and gave it to Rav Idi bar Ravin. But Rav Idi bar Ravin said, Amar lei. Rav Idi bar Ravin told him, told Rav Chisda, because Rav Chisda was the dayan, the judge. Amar lei lahadir li peri the achal mehahu yamad hashta. Let this fellow give me back the fruits from that day which he entered the field, which he entered the palm tree. Palm tree is not really a field, but from that day which he entered and took possession over the palm tree, let him give me back those fruits. 2 years, 1 or 2 years worth of fruits. Okay. Amar, so Rav Chisda responded, Zehu she'aimrim alav adam gadolhu. This is you are the person who everyone talks about and says you're Adam Gadol, you're a great man. Back then, the Gemara, we find very sharp language back and forth. It was not necessarily derogatory. It was constructive. He says, you're the one that people say that you're a great man. Aman, and what you're saying right now is doesn't fit with halacha. Aman kasamach mar. Who are you relying now? Now that he admitted that the palm tree is yours. So who are you relying on now? Ahai, you're relying on this fellow. He was saying the last 2 years until today, he was saying that I'm closer. So if he decided now to give back the field and do tshuva, okay, that only helps. That is your power to go into the field. So we have to look at what he's saying. He's saying in the last 2 years, I don't want to give you the fruits. The fruits were mine for the last 2 years, and from now on, I'm giving it back to you. So it's kind of like in between. If you want to win in the field you want to win the case because of him. So you can't be mighty Paris. You can't ask him back for the fruits because he's not agreeing to that. You can only win according to his mouth. And his mouth is saying, I only want to give you a field now, not in the past, not the previous fruits. So you can see as there's a lot to discuss over here. Rav Chisda held, no, Rav Chisda told him, you cannot win more than his mouth. His mouth is telling you, I'm only agreeing to give it to you from now on. And the past, no. So that's what you get. So that's what Rav Chisda told him. Does anyone have any questions over here? No. Okay. So let's see. Abai v'Rava, 2 lines, the last line on the page. Abai v'Rava, interestingly that Abai and Rava go together. Abai v'Rava le'sfira luhu hader Rav Chisda. Both of them held the same thing. Kivan de Aidi. We don't do that. We don't split up he's telling us now, this relative is saying, I agree now, today I woke up, I want to do tshuva, I agree that you are closer and you have more power, you have more rights to the field. You have more rights to this field, this tree, and because you're closer. So let's look what he's saying. Let's look at what he's saying. He only agrees to give up the tree from now on. But how did he say it to us? How did he tell it over to us? What did he tell us now when he said when the tree is yours? He said you are a closer relative. So that implies that any fruits that were eaten for the last 2 years, or last 1 or 2 years, whatever it was, that implies that was gezel, it was shalaikedin, it was not his fruits. Therefore, he has to give it back because you can't split it. Even though he's only agreeing, I only want to give you the field now, the tree now. But that doesn't make a difference because he's not saying, okay, take the field, take the tree from now on. He's saying you are a closer relative. So that implies that that included in that is the fruits which were eaten for the last.
Is that like a complete correction?
Yeah.
Complete,
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there's that's the case over here. Two dots. Okay, and any questions we can, if there's no questions, we can continue. Okay, Lama Gimel Lama Beis. So it's going to be the top line, Lama Gimel Lama Beis. A new argument. This one, there's two fellows arguing. This never actually. The Gemara didn't. This halacha wasn't said on a Ma'aser Shahai, on an actual story that happened, but it's talking. But the Gemara is saying a case that can happen. This can happen as follows. You have a field in front of us, and there's two people arguing. This one says this field was from my fathers and it belongs to me. And this one says, no, it's not true. The field is my father's. I see Sahadi. The first one brings Edem. Sahadi is Edem Da'av Asehu. That the field belonged to his fathers. He brings Edem saying, we saw this field, we saw this fellow's father who was in the field and working the field, and it must have been his. But I see Sahadi. And the other one, so the other fellow, he brings Edem to Achal Shnei Chazaka. So Edem, he brings witnesses that he was working the field for 3 years. He was the owner of the field for 3 years. And what do you do? Okay, so let's I want to just bring up the concept of migu. Is everyone familiar with migu from before?
Yes.
I'll just go, fine. So if you're familiar, I'll say it quickly. Migu means like this: when you have a person arguing in court, in Beis Din. So let's bring the easiest. Let's bring up a case, an easy case, very simple case. Reuven tells Shimon, says, you owe me $100. And Shimon says, I paid it up. Parati, I paid it up. So if Reuven he's just tining, he has no proof. So then that's a simple case. The halacha is that he's that's a simple case. That's when he says parati, I paid it up. So then he wins. You have no proof. You have no star. You have no star. So then there's no contract or anything. So parati, I paid it up. So Shimon who says I paid it up, he wins. Now let's say Reuven brings him a contract. He shows a contract. Here's a contract. You owe me $100. And Shimon says, parati, I paid it up. So it doesn't work like you can't paying up. You're saying I paid up and saying I paid up, and the other person, if another person has a contract, he's not believed. He says you paid up. I have my contract. You can't tell me that I paid up, right? Doesn't work. Sometimes he is believed. Well, sometimes it depends on the star. It depends on what type of star it was. With a migu. Okay, maybe paying up is not. Maybe it's not a good taina. It's not a good argument, because for whatever reason, maybe parati is not. Maybe for some reason, because there's a star, there's a contract against you, but there's something called migu. I didn't have to say I paid up. I could have said the star is mezuyaf. And right, the contract it wasn't backed up by Edom. It wasn't backed up by Beis Din. It was something that wasn't. It wasn't. It's not. It was einay mekuyim. It wasn't. No, it didn't say it wasn't valid. Einay mekuyim means that it wasn't. We don't know for sure that it was a good star. It means we don't recognize the signatures. Yeah, so we think we can doubt the star might not be a real star. It might be forged. It's einay mekuyim. If it's a mekuyim, so then you have everything going against you if you say I paid up. But if it's einay mekuyim, it's not a mekuyim star. It's maybe we can think that might be forged. So look, Shimon is saying I paid up, but he could have said something better than I paid up. Paying up against the star is not such a good argument, but he could have said it's mizuyef, the star is forged. Again, we're talking about when the case of the star, the contract is we don't know, right? So so over here he has a migu. This is a power that we give a argument that and the Basin gives us called migu. I could have said it was mizuyef. I could have said it was forged. Believe me that it was the star. I paid up the star because if I would have wanted, I could have said something better. It's in my hands to win. So even if he didn't think of the other argument, but even if he didn't think of it, but he has that, he can win based on a migu. Okay, in certain cases, sometimes migu is its whole list of halachas by its of migu. Migu means since I could have said the better argument, believe me what I'm saying now, because I could have said the better argument. That's the halacha of migu, and it comes up so many places and so many ways when you say migu, and so many ways you don't say migu, for the different reasons. But migu is a very powerful taina, an argument. It's a winning argument in Basin. Okay, so that was with that. Let's go back to the Gemara. So you have these two fellows over here. One of them says Zayim Mishalavaisa. It's on top of the page. Lamagim Lamabez. Zayim Mishalavaisa. The first fellow said, "This field was my father's field." Viza Aimer, and the other one says Shalavaisa. It was my father. Hi, I see Sadi. The first one brings Adam the Avasehu that belonged to my father. That the Adam say that. They didn't know. They are witnessing that it was my father's. V'hai, and the other one, I see Sadi brings Adam to Achal Shnei Chazaka that he was in the field for 3 years. Amar Rav Chisda, says Rav Chisda, Malay l'shaker, the fellow who brought Adam, who brought witnesses that he was working the field for 3 years. He has this migu, right? Because without a migu, he's pretty lost. He's a loser because what do you mean you ate the field? I have Adam, it's mine. But because he's tiny, he wasn't saying that I bought the field from you. If you look back in the Gemara, he says Zaymer Shalavaisa. He was coming and his argument was it was mine because it's my father's. He inherited it. That's what, and there's Adam against you. Adam are saying it was his father's. But there's a migu over here. Malay l'shaker. He has what's going for him is his migu. Malay l'shaker. Ibai amarle. If he would have wanted, if he could have said, Minach zavinta v'achalti shnei chazaka. He has Adam that he ate it for 3 years. The Adam are saying they ate it for 3 years. So let him say, it's not mine, it's really yours, but I bought it from you and I ate it for 3 years and now it's mine. Just like that's the whole halacha of cheskas habatim. Cheskas habatim is if you are working the field, you are working the field for 3 years, and the owner says, "This is my field. I have Adam. Here's my contract that it's mine. What are you doing in my field?" And he says, "I bought it from you. And where's my star? I lost my star. I was here for 3 years. 3 years is a long time. People lose their star." And if he says that, he wins. And he could have said that. What?
The mouse ate his homework.
The mouse, exactly. That happens all the time. So he could have said, he could have argued and said, I ate it Shnei Chazaka, I ate it 3 years. So now, even though he said a different taina, again, let's go, this is the concept of migu. He didn't say I bought it from you. He said it's my father's. I have a Yerusha. I inherited it from my father. But he could have, that's a migu. Believe me, that's mine, because I could have said that I inherited it, because I could have said I bought it from you and ate it and then had a chazaka. And that's Rav Chisda's psak. Rav Chisda's he paskins that the second one wins it. Okay. The one who brings Adam that he ate chazaka, because he has a migu and he's believed. Abaye v'Rava, again, interesting. Abaye v'Rava both agree. Usually they argue. It's uncommon that they should both agree on the svara, on a logic. But over here they agree. Abaye v'Rava le'svira luhu hadir Rav Chisda. They don't hold a Rav Chisda. Because Mali l'shaker b'makam edim loy amrinan. Over here, the migu is against Edom. So let's just explain a little bit about migu. Migu, we said before, is believe me. Let's go back to that case of Parati. Believe me that Reuven tells Shimon, here's my star, here's my contract. It says you owe me $100. And Shimon says, I paid it up. And believe me that I paid it up because I could have said it's mezuyah. If I could have said it's forged, then he wins. As long as the star is Einu Mekuyim, we don't know if it wasn't Mekuyim, it wasn't established in Bezin, that's a good star. Because he has a migu. However, if he said, if Edom come and say, you never paid up, we know for sure. We know we were with you for the last 3 days, right? Or last 30 days, whatever it was, however long whatever the star says. We know for sure you didn't pay up. Then migu is a good power. It's a winning argument, but it can't win against Edom. Edom is the most powerful. We're gonna see. Either it's gonna come up or it came up before. Edom is the most powerful winning. It's the most powerful proof in Beis Din. Migu is a good power. Migu is strong, but it can't go against Edom, because there's Edom proving against you. Then you don't win. So say Abai, going back to our Gemara. Abai v'Rava le'sviru lo hader av tista. Mali l'shaker b'makom Edom lo'yamrinan. Mali shaker is another way of saying migu. Mali l'shaker. I could have said, why would I have said false? I could have said something else. Mali l'shaker is a way of saying migu. Mali l'shaker b'makom Edom lo'yamrinan. We don't say migu. We don't win. We don't paskin with a migu against Edom. You are saying shalavaisai. Right? Shimon, there's Reuven and Shimon. Reuven is saying, it's my father's. And he brings Edom. Edom say that it was my father's. Shimon says, no, it's my father's. And he brings Edom, they ate 3 years. So he's trying to win and say, it's my father's. But Edom are saying, no, it's his father's. So the winning argument of Shimon, right, is that he can say migu, but his migu is against Edom. He's saying that Edom are saying it's not your father's, it's his father's. So this is the halacha of migu b'makom Edom la'amrinan. We don't say migu. Migu doesn't win when it's against Edom. When your argument is going against Edom. Okay. Any questions before we move on? Okay. Ahu, 7 lines from the top, where it says ahu, in the middle of the line, where it says ahu. Ahu d'amar le'la chavrei. There was a fellow that told his friend, my bias b'hayara. What are you doing in this field? It's my field. And the owner of the field had a star or something. He had proof that it was his. What are you doing in this field? My field. What are you doing to my field? Amar le minach zavni v'achalti shnei chazaka. I bought it from you, and I ate it for shnei chazaka. I ate 3 years. And what happened to my star? My star got lost. Azal, I see. Okay, so let's just go. This is the halacha of chazaka. Okay, chazaka is that when Reuven owns the field and Shimon is working the field for 3 years. So Reuven tells Shimon, it's my field. Shimon says back, no, I bought it from you and I was here for 3 years. That's good, but he has to bring proof that he was there for 3 years. Okay, it's not enough just to say that he was there for 3 years. He has to bring proof that he ate for 3 years. Azal, I see Sahadi. So what did he do? He went and he brought Edom the Akla Tartishni. He brought Edom that he was there for 2 years. 2 years. Okay? He couldn't find Edom in the 3rd year. He tried high and low, far and wide, but he couldn't find Edom on the 3rd year. So too bad he only has Edom on 2 years. So the field goes back to the owner. Amar of Nachman Hadra Ara. The field goes back to the owner. Vihadri Peri. And also the fruits go back. Here it's a little complicated because the field goes back and he brought Edom, they ate it for 2 years. He brought it to support him, but now the Edom are saying that it was Gezel. It It was robbery. These 2 years. And you have to give it back, right? And he can't say I didn't eat anymore because he brought the Edom to burn him. Says Rav Nachman, Hadra Arav Hadra Peri. The field goes back, and the Paris, the fruits of the field for the last 2 years, he has to go back. What about the Paris on the 3rd year? So that's a good question. Rashbam says only on the 2 years. I believe because there's only Edom on 2 years. The 3rd year there's no Edom. You can always say I never ate it. When else? The Rashbam has a big discussion about this. Okay, but for now, let's read the Rashbam. He says the Paris of 2 years have to go back because there's Edom on 2 years, and it's not yours, and you ate it with it wasn't yours. Amar of Zvid. Okay, new. I'm just not sure how you calculate the fruits. Like how would you estimate that? I guess you would say a projected amount.
Yeah.
A projected amount of how much the field produces each year.
Look back how much fruit it produced. Couple years in the record.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that would be it. Yeah. Okay, they would have to. Bezin would have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Amar of Zvid. Amar Zvid. It's by the Rashbam says that it's a new Gemara. It's a new Chesed just one case after the next. Some of them doesn't just cases of arguments between each other. What do you do? And what's the din Torah? Amar of Zvid. Imtan ve'amar leperis yiradati neman. Okay, so now Rashbam says that's going back on when you have 2 people arguing, and one of them, so Reuben comes to Shimon. What are you doing in my field? And Shimon says, you know why? Because I am a sharecropper in the field. The reason why I'm in the field, it's your field, but I'm a sharecropper. I contracted the field for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it was. Some sharecroppers contract the field for 10 years. It's your field, but I'm a sharecropper. Says Rav Nachman. Says Rav Zvid. Imtan v'amar leperis yiradati. If he argued and said, I am a sharecropper in the field, and that's my right to the fruits of the field. Naman, he's believed. Lav mi Amar Rav Yehuda. Didn't Rav Yehuda's okay? The reason is I think we should see the Rashbam. We have some time. So it's where the Rashbam is the Rashbam is the inner commentary on the Gemara, where the wides get lined, where the lines get wide. It's 1, 2, 3, 8 wide lines where it says Neman. Neman, he's believed b'masha achal. He's believed with what lemafreya. He's believed that the fruits, that he ate the fruits, that he was a sharecropper. Ubishvuas heses, he must swear. Shvuas heses, okay? So usually a shvua, person swears that he's saying the truth, is only for, so there's deraisa type of swearing, and there's derabanan type of swearing. Deraisa is only in 3 cases, but over here it doesn't fit in. So it's called shvuas heses. It's only a derabanan shvua. He must swear that he's saying the truth. There's avninu minei that he bought it from him. He was an aris, a sharecropper. Even if we have ate him, there's witnesses that he ate the fruits. Everything's going against him. There's Edom, there's witnesses saying that the field belongs to the owner, and that he's here, that the Edom say that we saw him eat the fruits. The reason why he's believed is because means everything's going against him. There's Edom that the field belongs to the owner. There's Edom that ate the fruits. But what he has going for him is this concept of loich chatzif. Person doesn't have the chutzpah. To go in someone else's field and just take over the field and eat there, stay there for a long time and eat the fruits. It must be. There can't be that things happening. That's a concept. Bezin knows that like chatzif inish. A person doesn't have the chutzpah to go into someone's field, shalai kedin, and eat the fruits. So therefore, Bezin says maybe Bezin wants to think it. Maybe what he's saying is true. Maybe it's true what he's saying that he's a sharecropper, because it doesn't make sense that he would have the chutzpah to go in someone else's field. People have chutzpah, but such a chutzpah to take over someone's field, and it's something that's very unlikely, and that's going for him. And then the Rashbam adds in something else. Let's go back to the Gemara. Says Amar of Zvid, Imtan v'Amar leperetz yirati. If a person, there's an argument going on, and the owner says, "What are you doing in my field? Why are you eating the fruits?" And he says, "You know why? Because I'm a sharecropper." So Bezin says it's very likely he's saying the truth, because otherwise he wouldn't have the chutzpah to go in the field. He wouldn't have the chutzpah to go in the field and eat the fruits. And he brings proof, proves himself from an earlier Amira. Lami Amar Rav Yehuda. Didn't Rav Yehuda say, "Hi man," a similar halacha? Hi man did nakat magla v'tavlaya. There's a fellow taking a magla. Magla is a sickle to cut. It's the sharp knife for cutting wheat. V'tavlaya, tavlaya is another cutting tool for cutting palm tree for cutting down dates or palm trees. V'amar Ezel igdere ledikla lapanya. I'm gonna go. He's standing with his knife and with his tools, and he's saying, "I'm going to cut this ledikla lapanya, this fellow's palm tree. Dizavne nihali, because he sold it to me. Doesn't have a contract. He doesn't have edim. There's nothing. He's no support. But Mehaman, we believe him. We believe him that you bought it from." That we believe the person who has the tools, and he's about to cut down the tree. He's believed that what he's saying is true, because like chatzah finished the gaza dig a lot of delay. Person, it takes chutzpah that people don't have to cut someone else's tree down, and it must be what he's saying is truth, because the alternative would be that he's stealing, and such brazen stealing, it's very unlikely, and therefore we believe what he's saying. This is our discussion in Taisus. Taisus argues and say that it doesn't mean that he's actually cutting down the tree. It means he's cutting down the fruits from the tree. That's a separate discussion. But whatever you see from there, you see from that halacha of Rabbi Yehuda, who's an earlier Amira, you see that you have this leichatzif, this thing of this winning proof kind of Bezdin knows that people don't have that chutzpah to cut down to do something so brazen. The same way over there by the tree, when someone's cutting down the fruits from the tree, he's believed that he bought it. So too over here, he's believed that he's a sharecropper, and he has rights to the fruits for the last whatever it was. Thank you. Okay, so as for the Gemara asks, Ihachi. Ihachi it's 10 lines from the bottom. Ihachi, if that's true that we have this we believe him because of lechatzef, because he wouldn't have the guts to do that. Perinami, let's believe him on the Paris. Okay. Okay, I'm just oh, I skipped a line. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, so I got confused. I skipped a line. Ihachi. Let's go back to 11 lines from the bottom. There was 2 ihachis. Okay. Ihachi. If it's true that we have this, that we believe him. Thank you very much for the water. Ihachi. If it's true, Aranami. So too the land. The land also. What does it mean? The land also? It means that when the classic chazaka of when Reuven says, "This is my field. Get out of my field. What are you doing What are you doing in my field?" And he says, "I bought it from you." And I ate chazaka. Okay. And I ate chazaka, and it's mine because I bought it from you. Why do we need, what's the whole concept of 3 years? Why do you need 3 years to get a chazaka? Let's just believe him because, excuse me, I wouldn't go into your field. It must be I'm saying the truth because I wouldn't go into your field and steal for 3 years. It must be it's mine. Right? What's the Gemara is asking now, this question of Yihachi is a question on the whole parak of Cheskes Abatim. I think if I'm not mistaken, the Rashbam, who's a commentary on the Gemara, he brings down this Gemara to explain Cheskes Abatim. Somewhere, maybe it's the beginning, maybe it's towards the beginning. He brings down this Gemara, saying this is the question on the whole Cheskes Abatim. Let's believe this. Let's believe the one who's in the field now, that it must be that he bought that he's saying that I bought the field from you, and let's believe him because he wouldn't have the guts to go to steal the field so openly for 3 years. Why does he need Edom? Just let's believe him. Let's believe him. He's saying the truth. It's a question on the whole Cheskes Abatim. Why do we need 3 years? What's this whole thing of 3 years? Yihachi aranami. Let's believe him. Let's use this lechatzif. This namanas is called. Namanas is the way they say in yeshiva. Namanas means belief. Let's believe him that he's saying the truth. This namanas. Let's believe him that he's saying the truth because he wouldn't have the chutzpah to go in the field. Says the Gemara, Ara, no, Amrin le'ach bishtarcha. The problem is that he has something against him, because it's true that he has this he has going for him, cheering him on, this lechatzif, this that you can't be that you're stealing the field because you wouldn't have the guts to do that. But where's your star? Where's your contract? If it's true that you bought the field, show me your contract. When people sell real estate, anyone who's purchased real estate before knows that it's not to buy real estate. It takes a long time. All the paperwork, and excuse me, where's your star? If it's true you bought the field, what happened to the star? What happened to the contract? And that's it. That's why it's true that you wouldn't have the guts to go in the field, but you need to show your contract. And so the Gemara says, "Yachi perinami." When it comes to fruits, the same thing. Right, when the person back by the sharecropper, he's saying, "I'm a sharecropper." So we should tell him, "Excuse me, you need your contract." Everyone makes a contract. Says the Gemara, "Star leperi le'avdi inchi." It's it doesn't always happen that people make a star. So you're not changing ownership. When you're changing ownership on real estate, you make a contract. When you're just contracting out your field for someone for fruits, people trust each other, and you're not changing ownership. So therefore, it doesn't always happen that people make star, and therefore therefore this namanas of lechatzif, we trust him that he's a sharecropper. Okay. That was a mouthful here. And the next Gemara is a new Gemara. New argument. Anyone? Before we move on? Okay. So now we're 9 lines from the bottom. There was a fellow that said to his friend, "My bias b'hai ara. What are you doing in this field?" Again, we're talking about the one after the next. What are you doing in this field? Amar lei. So he argued back, "Minach zavnis. I bought it from you." The classic case, I bought it from you. And I ate for 3 years. And he brought one witness. Okay. Again, the classic case would be 2 witnesses and he would win, but here he didn't have that. He only had 1 witness. Only 1 witness, they ate 3 years. Before we said 2 witnesses, he ate 2 years. Now it's 1 witness, 3 years. What do you do? Savar Rabbanan Kameda Abaye Lememar. The Chachamim who were standing in front of Abaye, they wanted to say as follows: Hainu Naschadir Ab Abba. The halacha follows the psak of a different halacha of Naschadir Ab Abba. Naschadir Ab Abba was a famous case, which the Gemara is going to bring down right now, that somebody grabs from his friend a bar of silver, a bar of metal, whatever it was, some sort of naskha. Naskha means a bar of metal. And the halacha over here, by this argument, is derived from the halacha over there. What was that case? That Hu Gavra, there was a man, the Chadav Nascha Mechavrei. He went openly and he grabbed Nascha. Nascha is a bar of metal. His friend was holding a bar of metal, whatever, maybe it was gold, silver, and he grabbed it in front of everyone. Also, Rav Ami. They brought the case in front of Rav Ami. Rabbi Yosef, Rav Abba Kamei. Rav Abba was sitting in front of Rav Ami. So you have Rav Ami was the Reish Bezin, he was the head, he was the one that was the Pesach, the one who's giving the psak, and his Talmud, Rav Abba, was sitting in front of him when the case came. So you have Rav Ami sitting in front, and Rav Abba sitting watching, observing the halacha. And that's why it's called Naschad Rav Abba, because Rav Abba was the one who was there, he said we're going to see that it was him who said the halacha, and Rav Ami wanted to say something, and Rav Abba said something different, and we follow Rav Abba. So that's why it's called Naschad Rav Abba. Naschad means the bar of metal, and Rav Abba is the one who passed the halacha. Naschad Rav Abba. So this man grabbed Naschad, a bar of metal from his friend, and the case came in front of Rav Ami. I see Chad Sahada, the Chatva Minei. So the owner, Reuven, who was holding the Naschad, the metal bar, originally, he brought one aid that the Adam saw, the witness said, I saw you, the Shimon, grabbing the Naschad, the metal bar from Reuven. And it was you can't say that it's mine, and because I saw you stealing it. I saw you robbing him. Amar Le, he said, in chatvi v'didi chatvi. It's true I grabbed it, but it was mine. You know why I grabbed it? Because it was mine. And then, okay. So let's just go back. Let's just expand over here a little bit. We have, I think tomorrow we'll finish up the halakha of this case over here. So there's something called cheskas metaltalin. There's karka, which is real estate, and metaltalin is movable items. Anything which is not karka is metaltalin, or most things, which will come up later. There's karka metaltalin. There's something called chazaka. Chazaka means the status quo. If someone is holding on to something, then that shows that it's theirs. Chazaka, the Gemara, there's a chazaka. The Gemara says, "Call my anything which is in the anything which is in the person's hands." There's a chazaka. There's a status quo that's his. But how do I know that? How does everyone know that this is my pen? Maybe it's not, because I'm holding this pen and it's probably mine. How does everyone know that? How does everyone know that that's your Gemara, or that's your Gemara, or that's your anything? That's your, because the assumption is that something that a person's holding belongs to him. That works by metaltalin, by movable things. And real estate doesn't work like that. We'll see as we go on. We'll see more about that. But this case over here is metaltalin. This naskal, this metal bar, is metaltalin. Is something which is movable. And if someone is holding on to this, someone's holding on to a metal bar, we assume that it's his. If someone grabs it from him, and there's no witnesses, there's no proof, so the one who grabs it, when he wins, because we assume that's his, and we have no way of knowing that he grabbed it. He's saying that's mine. I never grabbed it from you. It's mine. And he's saying, no, it's not yours. That you grabbed it from me. So bring proof. The one who wins is the one who's holding it, unless there's Edom against him. Because you have this chazaka, we have this chazaka of anything which is the person's holding on to is probably there's a chazaka, there's an assumption that it belongs to him. So this case is, we're going to see more about this tomorrow, and about this case of Naschad Rav Abba. And I think we can stop here now. Thank you everyone for listening.